It is week number 4, and it holds the second longest track on the schedule for this season. This is the Bend in Australia. The Shelby Power Motorsports Park, if you will, 7.7 kilometers, is going to be a long lap for these drivers. This is the Heusinkveld Advanced Mazda MX-5 Cup series here on the iRacing service, and this is the Racing Line Network. Thank you so much for joining. Hopefully everything is going well wherever you're at. Hopefully your day is going well, and these drivers will have a challenge ahead of them as we see the images of Adelaide. Now, see if we can catch a few drivers on their lap. As of right now, no one has put in a single lap time, so we'll see if we are able to go ahead and get a visual of some of these drivers here as they run their laps. It's going to be a shockingly small grid, 2 splits for this week, 2 splits of 16 drivers each. So far, the smallest grid as well. Of course, with this being the second longest track on the schedule for the season, the longest is going to be in 3 weeks' time with the Nürburgring combined, a 24-hour layout. It is a relatively late day in sim, about 4:35, 16:35 in 24-hour time, as we see Lucas Jose going through. We have 34 turns, I believe, if not 35. This is going to be one long lap. No one has still put in a single lap time either, by the way. Taking a look at Dominic Ferraris here in the number 12 machine. We'll go back to Andreas Senabaria, I believe. 2 minutes left. Still no one's put in the qualifying time. We'll get the we'll see if we can get the timing up on screen for you here as well. There we go. And then on the right hand side, all the information will be, or the left hand side, all the information will be coming in for the qualifying times. But again, long laps, so only enough time for one lap for these drivers, so they have to make it count. They have to make sure that they don't get any sort of an off track like Moreno Jr. has just done. Just as we cut to him, his lap is invalidated. So we'll go to the number 7 of Matt Mullins, who's the first driver to put a lap down. First driver to start his lap, and he'll be the first driver to put his lap time on the board with just around 1 minute remaining. Again, long lap, and we'll see what that comes to here as he'll come across the start-finish line, this time by 7 of Matt Mullins. Where does he stand in terms of lap times? A 3-minute 26.463 is immediately overridden by Joe Holmes. So Tom Sanders will come across the start-finish line. He places a time that is 3 seconds slower. Moreno not able to put in a lap. Jose in the number 8 may have gotten an off track. His lap is invalidated. We have Mark Kruger in the 14. Crosses the start-finish line. He goes up to 9th. There's a driver that could reasonably finish a lap time here. It could be the number 5 of Andreas Navarro. We saw him a couple weeks ago at Watkins Glen with the very shiny Diet Coke livery. Love the design. He comes across the start-finish line, and he will place nowhere. Lap time invalidated for the number 5 of Navarro. And just like that, with 5 seconds left, qualifying has come to an end. So go ahead and get your starting grid up on the screen. It's going to be 9 estimated laps. Oh My goodness. P1 lines up on the left-hand side of the grid, so we'll give you that starting grid now. We're going to have to be fast as well. So Joe Holmes starts off in first. Matt Mullins is outside, less than a tenth of a second behind. He starts off in second. Michael Foles will start third. Fourth, Dominic Ferraris. Third is Jean-Francois Saint-Pierre. We saw him last week nearly get a top 5 finish. He only finished 10th, though, after a racing incident. Tom Sanders starts in the 6th place position. And then Wesley DeCruz, we saw him, I believe, at Watkins Glen. He will start off in 7th. Andreas Senabaria starts off in 8th. Mark Kruger starts off in 9th, the last driver to set a qualifying time. Nicholas Shepard has not set a qualifying time. He starts in 10th. 11th is going to be Andres Navarro. 12th is Gregorio Moreno Jr. And then the last 4 drivers, Lucas Jose and Daniel DeLiberti, start off in 13th and 14th. Mark Tassolin and Michael Tanagretta starts off in the 16th place position. They're waiting for the drivers to get the signal. A few drivers left to grid. Again, a shockingly small field. Normally, there would be many, many, many more drivers on the grid. I believe the maximum is about 26, if not 24 drivers. But the split, how it handled this week, was 2 splits of 16, and this is the top split of those 16 drivers, waiting for the lights up at the very top of your screen, and it's going to be in the top of their the view of the drivers as well. Currently waiting for 2 more drivers to grid. In fact, they're not going to grid. We have 2 seconds left. 1 driver grids at the last second. Tassolin has missed the grid. Joe Holmes starts off in the first place position on the right-hand side. And we go green flag racing here at the bend. And it's going to be a straight shot down into turn number 1. It'll be 3 wide very early on. Folds nearly makes contact with Holmes. 30 minutes on the clock. 9 laps estimated. Here comes Foles to try and get to the back bumper of Holmes. No dice, though, in the opening corners. Well, for first place for Holmes, he has retained his position from where he started. Look at Holmes making a defensive line on the camera's right-hand side. Foles will go around the outside lane, this time by turn number 1. Not able to get the grip, though. Everyone does look like they made it through. That's a driver off in the grass. That is Wesley DeCruz. He's off in the grass, but he does hold on to it. Side-by-side battle for 4th place. Jean-Francois in the 11 will make his way up alongside the number 12 of Dominic Ferraris. Oh, contact. The 11's around. And that's in front of a couple other drivers as well. Hard damage. That is Lucas Jose. Heavy, heavy damage. No doubt steering damage for that number 8 machine. He is out early on. And it all started with the number 11 machine. Let's see if we can get a shot here. So keep an eye on the 11 of Jean-Francois. Did he make contact? Oh, no. Oh, that's what happened. The 12 made contact with the curbing and just nowhere to go for Jose. Let's see if we can get an onboard shot with Jose here. Oh, just appears out of nowhere. And Jose has towed back to pit row. It's pretty much day done for him by the looks of it. The top 3 have split off. It is currently Joe Holmes who has retained the first place position. He's still first. Folds has moved up 1 spot after getting by Matt Mullins on the start. It's a spin for the 14 off in the back. He is able to keep going in time, so go ahead and get a replay of what happened to the 14 of Mark Kruger. Just too much momentum, loops it around, almost a full 180. Technically a full 180, depending on how you want to look at it. But he is back going. As we see live pictures of him, Dominic Ferraris and Tom Sanders battling for the 4th place spot. The top 3 have broken away. So it's on for what could potentially be the last step of the podium if something does happen to the top 3. A look in the background, Navarro gets on the inside of Shepard, sneaks his way through. If not, retains position. From the second to last corner to the final corner. Let's ride on board with, oh, wait a minute. Ferraris to pit road. Not sure as to why, but Ferraris is in pit road right now. Did he not fuel? This is an open setup event, so maybe Ferraris did not get race fuel. Let's take a look from up above here. Ferraris, this is a very slow pit lane, by the way. 25 miles per hour. If I remember the conversion correctly, it's a whole 37 kilometers per hour. So Ferraris in his pit box, I do not see the tires going up. So is it really just a under fuel? Was he on qualifying fuel instead? There's definitely no damage, so that could be the only reasonable explanation. There's no penalty either. Let's have a battle for 8th place. Wesley DeCruz and Moreno Jr. side by side, trading Lebo Payne alongside. We're looking at the number 6 of Moreno Jr. Wesley DeCruz in that black and blue number 10 on the right-hand side. Gets out-braked by Moreno, and Moreno will make his way up to the 8th place position. Let's go ahead and move, take a look back up at P4, where Shepard and Sanders are 5th and 4th, respectively. Andres Navarro and Andreas Santabria are 6th and 7th. Look at that, right on top of the back bumper of Tom Sanders was Nicholas Shepard. We'll get an onboard look here momentarily of what it's like to be around a 3.5 minute lap of the bend. Just having to wait for the correct moments here. We'll keep an eye on this brewing battle. These drivers are just now going into the final sector as well, at least with the leaders, and now the battle for 4th place is in the final sector. It's right at that line there that they just passed for the alternate layout for the bend. One of the 7 that the iRacing service has. Ferraris is back going, by the way, only 23-second pit stop, so no doubt just not enough fuel for that number 12. So nothing between Shepard and Sanders as of yet. A few drivers off in the gravel, but they are still continuing forwards. In fact, Shepard might have a look here to the right-hand side of Sanders. He has been sticking right alongside, right on top of that back bumper, unless he's just going into bump draft, but these guys are not going to be catching the top 3 anytime soon because the gap between themselves and the leaders as Shepard goes wide is about 6.5 seconds. And that's at least from Sanders to Mullins. So a 6.5 second gap. For once having to use the gap to car ahead here. Speaking of Matt Mullins, he might be in closing distance here of Michael Foltz as they go down the main straightaway. You can see off in the background, there's 4th and 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. These top 3 have absolutely broken away. No move yet for P2, but there is a move for P4 as Shepard will go way alongside on the inside lane. Top speed of about 123 miles per hour. Does not seem right. That may be incorrect, actually, but regardless. It's not miles per hour, it's kilometers an hour. Nope, that was miles per hour. I'm double checking right now. Yeah, that's, ooh. Doesn't seem like it when you're going down that straightaway. Meanwhile, Shepard's on the back of Mullins. And the 15, Tangaretta might be off. He might be out, actually. And he is back, so just a connection issue for that number 15. A pass for 6th place. As Andreas Sanabria gets by Andreas Navarro. Then that's going to bring in potentially Moreno and Wesley DeCruz here. They have a whole host of drivers that are separated in their own little battles here. So we have Joe Holmes, who has just absolutely set the pace of life. Fastest lap for him was his previous lap at a 3:25.634. And then between Folds and Mullins, well, Folds' last lap was invalidated. And the only thing I can think of is that he got slowed down somewhere on this 7-kilometer course. That's the only reason why I could think that lap time was invalidated, but of course he is still scored in second. So lap time just gets invalidated. It's not scored as a valid lap time, but otherwise he will still be scored in second. Into Sector 3 we go. And then when we take a look back towards Shepard and Sanders, Shepard, now that he's gapped himself a little bit between Sanders. Oh, wow. Shepard is using all the racetrack available here. He dipped the left sides into the grass there on corner entry. A very bold decision. Trusting the MX-5 more than I would. Now we have this group of 6th to 9th place, 6th and 7th. Well, actually, it might just be from 7th to 9th here. Navarro has fallen back into the clutches of Moreno Jr. here. It's a 3-car battle here, looming for the 7th place position. Does Moreno go for the move? Not quite. He thought about it, but not into that corner. In fact, it's gotten so dark that the lights have just turned on. Oh, Moreno nearly makes contact. He tried to go for the gap that was there. A little bit ambitious. But he does back out, but props to him for at least trying. And oh, by the way, in sim time, it is 5:02:30, so, or should I say 17:02:30, depending on which time zone, which method of time that you like to use. This battle for 7th is definitely just starting to heat up. 15 having a couple connection issues, but he is still within the limit to not be kicked out by the iRacing service. So at the moment, he will still be scored in 11th. Back down to turn 1. Folds has gapped himself between, has created a gap between himself and Mullins for that 2nd place position. And this battle that we're looking at right here will be the closest battle on track between Moreno and Navarro. Does Moreno try and go for it? Not quite. This is the closest battle on track. In fact, they might be able to both catch up to Andreas Sanabria. Oh, Moreno tried to go for the gap. Looking from the top down here, as Moreno is not going to be defending against Wesley DeCruz. A little bit of contact was made as well, so we'll go ahead and roll this back. Got to manage to go a little bit further here. Unless that front end damage was already there. Oh, that's where it was. So I'll run this back one more time. Let's go right on board and have a listen. Oh, there it is. Almost no contact, if anything. Moreno is getting passed by Wesley DeCruz just as we come back live. There's Daniel DiLiberti as well. And Moreno has fallen back now down to the 10th place position with just under 17 minutes left in this race. The gap, I believe, relatively stagnant between Holmes and Folds. It is a 4-second gap between first and second, and a 7/10 of a second gap between Folds and Mullins, or Mullins and Folds. Hovering currently at about 0.8 of a second. So this battle for, I'll call it 7th place, is still the closest one on track. A pretty key position here as well, especially in the sense that, well, this is an official iRacing session. It's not just something that's like a league. This is an official session. So these drivers will be wanting to chomp at the bit here for as many positions as possible to gain a little bit more I rating, which is what helps these drivers get into these higher splits. So a rough estimation would be about maybe 7th place of Andres Navarro. He might be losing a little bit of I rating, or maybe gaining a little bit. We're not entirely sure. You know, that data within at least ATVO specifically. It's not necessarily hard and fast. Well, you need to finish in the top half to gain I rating. Oh no. It takes in a whole bunch of different factors as well. So, hypothetically speaking, the higher the position, not even hypothetically, but literally speaking, the higher position, the better. And DiLiberti wants to get that higher position. We saw him try and peek onto the right-hand side of Cruz, but nothing doing there out of the opening section. As of now, we have 15 minutes left as DiLiberti goes 180 on the steering wheel. What a catch. In fact, this is a good view of the battle up ahead as well, because DeCruz has caught up to the back bumper of Navarro. Is DeCruz going to try and be able to make anything work? Those curbs as well on the right-hand side that we saw, those are dangerous in the sense that, well, you hit that, your suspension won't be completely destroyed, but it will absolutely unsettle the car. And you have a sequence of about 3 of them all in that entire middle sector. In fact, there's another one right there alongside a regular curb. That one's just inviting for trouble. Look at the S's here. Snaking through. And just about on the complete opposite end of the entire complex by this point. Meanwhile, up front, Folds has actually fallen back. Mullins has caught up. Something happened with Michael Folds, not entirely sure. Did he go off track? We'll see if we can get a catch of that. And yeah, ever so slightly, but looks like there's something even beforehand because Mullins is already there. DiLiberti and Cruz battling for position. It looks like I think everything was relatively fine for Folds, so maybe just hit one of those curbs that we were talking about a little bit earlier. In the meantime, DiLiberti and Cruz, well, DiLiberti is on the back bumper now of Navarro. Senabria has gapped himself between 6th to the rest of these 3 in 7th, 8th, and 9th. Here comes Cruz. Is he going to try and make a move onto the brakes? No. Stays in line. Looks again, but no move as of yet. Let's go back up front here to the 2nd place position because they're just around coming to the final corners here. Is Mullins going to be close enough to make any move? No, I don't think so. Back to the battle for what was effectively 7th, but technically between 8th and 9th here. DiLiberti and Cruz. DiLiberti in that the multicolored car here in the middle. Cruz in that blue accented Mazda, which absolutely stands out, by the way. It is getting dark quite quickly here. No moves into the first corner. Not close enough. It is a top speed of about 120 miles an hour just before these cars hit the braking zone. Maybe 125 miles an hour, give or take. And Mullins is chasing down. At least doing his best to chase down Michael Folds. And what Folds needs, especially after last week, is this kind of a finish. Just finishing, well, period. As well as a podium finish that he arguably could have at least battled for last week at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. And this week he is looking at P2 if things stay as they are, if he's able to stay ahead of Mullins. So far, that does look to be the case as we ride on board Mullins. Just flinging the MX-5 around. You can hear how much that Mullins is just staying in the same gear. I believe that might be second gear. Correction, it might be third gear that he was in throughout the entire section. Now he puts the power down. Back down to the 7th place battle. It's still Navarro, Diliberti, and Cruz. Although Diliberti might have different ideas, Navarro goes defensive. Around the outside is going to be Diliberti. Tries for the switchback, but not able to do so here in this portion of the course. Tires just getting on the grass there. As the sun sets around the bend. Look at Diliberti. He's going to try and go for it. Up the right-hand side in front of Cruz. Cruz is going to try and follow. Side by side they go. Navarro gives space. Diliberti gives space. Wheel to wheel they go still. Diliberti maybe tries to go for a switchback, but just unable to capitalize here. He is there. He is going to try and make the pass, though, as much as he can. A bit of a bobble there we saw on corner exit. That's not going to stop him from trying his best. Takes a little bit more of the curb in comparison to Navarro. And just from these three, just from up above here, we can see how different of the line that these drivers are taking. And the more narrow line from Diliberti, the more defensive line from Navarro on the right-hand side in that Diet Coke car. Shiny is the actual can itself. Look at Cruz right on top of the back bumper. Arguably maybe a better lane for Navarro through that final corner as we go down the front straightaway. Actually, correction, short shoot. Now we'll go down the front straightaway. After all that, they go again. 3 laps to go for the leaders this time. Cruz might try and push. Look at the speed of the bottom here, by the way. 121, 22, about 217 kilometers an hour. And they're hard on the brakes as we see the discs glowing. Especially with the sunset here. You can see just how much they're on the brakes. Look at this. The gap continues to grow between Holmes and Folds. Folds and Mullins still about 0.6 of a second back between each other. It's kind of eking out the differences of whichever battle is closest on track. Technically, it's for P2. Sometimes it's for P7. And it's definitely going to be for P7 because Diliberti is going to try and look around the left-hand side. Just can't quite get there. As Moreno, is he off? No. But he did get passed by Mark Kruger. Meanwhile, back up to 7th. Diliberti on the outside lane of Navarro. Side by side. Cruz could follow either one of these drivers. The one that would favor him more as Navarro gets checked off. Cruz follows through. Paying too much attention to the battle in front of him, nearly pit maneuvered Navarro off the course. And Diliberti is now up to 7th. Cruz has followed through. Navarro lost 2 positions. Oh, you know what? Diliberti got a piece of the curb. That's exactly what happened. I'll have to find the proper angle for this for you. It should be this one. We'll run it in slow motion here. There's Diliberti. Look at his right side tires. Way over the curb he goes. That unsettles the grip, and that sends him into the outside, and great car control by Cruz. That's right on board, the number 10. Oh, maybe, no, he just understeered, I think, is just what happened for Cruz. I thought he was paying too much attention to Navarro, but no, he just understeered right at the wrong time. That could have been a whole lot worse, that's for sure. So go back to live pictures now. Off the track is Sanabria. Off the track is Diliberti in that section as well. Wouldn't be surprised with Shepard as well. I believe even earlier in the race he had drifted 2 right side tires off the track there. Into the braking zone of the second half of Sector 3. It's an early start-finish line out of the corner as well. And for the leaders especially, it is 2 laps to go this time around. Holmes has been setting the pace. We've been paying attention more to the midfield battles here throughout the entire portion of this race. So Holmes has just been setting the timing charts alight in terms of gapping himself between himself and Folds. Folds and Mullins have been sticking with each other for a while. With a corner like that for Folds with right side ski on the curb by that much, not going to help him much. Nicholas Shepard has been doing relatively well. He's stagnant here in 4th, and after starting in 10th, not the worst thing in the world. Tom Sanders having a quiet race of his own, and then we see Sanabria also having a quiet race of his own, and then there's 7th, 8th, and 9th of Diliberti, Cruz and Navarro. Mark Kruger on his own in 10th. He does have Moreno Jr. in his mirrors, especially with those headlights. Michael Tanagoretta. I think it's just Tanagoretta, actually. For the 15, still continuing on. The 11 of St. Pierre has been having not the best race. But he did pit 4 laps ago, so not entirely sure what happened to the number 15, but we'll see if we can get a look while we have the chance. I don't believe it was a lap 1 crash. That may have been a lap 1 crash. Let's take a look here. This was during the race for the number 11. Just spun on his own. Not entirely sure if that was the race. There we go. Maybe his qualifying run. But for the race, we did see this as it happened a little bit earlier on. The 11 gang sent around, making contact with a couple other cars. And then when we cut back to live pictures, he's making his way down into turn 1 once again. 12 of Dominic Ferreras has put it behind the virtual wall 4 minutes ago. That moves Lucas Jose up to the 14th place position. Let's check back in with this battle for the 7th spot now. Firmly a 2-car battle this time around. It's going to be between Cruz and Diliberti. Diliberti, though, might be setting the pace a little bit, especially considering, well, last time by, Diliberti was 0.5 of a second faster than Wesley DeCruz. If we get the lap times up on the screen here, we can see the comparison here on the last lap, the previous, on the right-hand side. 329.896. I'm looking at the wrong category. Still, I was looking at the fastest lap. Diliberti was 0.6 of a second faster in his fastest lap. For DeCruz, the previous lap was 3 minutes 30.321. Meanwhile, up front, Joe Holmes about to take the white flag this time by. It seems like so long ago that we started. It seemed more daunting than what it really was here for this course for Joe Holmes, but almost having a 10-second gap between himself and Folds. Back up to the second place battle. Could Mullins make a challenge on Folds as they head into their final lap of the event? And luckily it's not time plus 1 lap, because if it was time plus 1 lap, we would be here for 10 laps rather than the 9 that were estimated. Regardless, a clean race for the top 3 so far. Let's check back in once again with the 7th place battle here. Everyone's still line astern. Mullins looking down the back bumper of Folds, just following the tire tracks. Not sure, unless Folds makes a mistake here, not sure if any challenge is going to be able to be made. Holmes, Folds, and Mullins all make their way on into the farthest portion of the course from the start-finish line. Look at this battle for 6th place. Diliberti has caught himself to Santa Maria. He looked for a moment on corner entry, I think he thought about it, decided against it. I saw the nose poke out. We could have a battle on for the 6th place position here on the final lap. This is the battle to focus on. This is the closest battle on the racetrack. Here comes Diliberti to the left-hand side. Just peeks the nose in. Not able to commit, though. This is going to bring in the Cruz. Snaking through once again. Tires just barely hitting the curbs. Diliberti slides ever so slightly, tries to follow as close as possible into the wheel tracks. Again, much like with the 2nd place battle, unless Santa Maria has a mistake, these positions might stay as they are. Diliberti is going to be the one that makes a mistake. Cruz is going to be on this back bumper here. Tires into the grass. Here comes Cruz to the left-hand side. Not able to get there in time, though, to make a move. Dives up the right-hand side instead. Still not able to commit. Not able to carry as much momentum here. Diliberti with a more narrow line, not swooping out as wide, trying to defend as much as possible. Still continues to slide. This time by, it's going to be potentially battle for 2nd place. But right now, this time by, after the chaos of last week and the move that could have been deemed questionable, if you will, Joe Holmes this week redeems himself with a clean race win at the Bend. Folds comes across, also redeems himself in a sense by finishing on the podium. 2nd place for Michael Folds, Matt Mullins 3rd, and we look back to the battle for 8th place in the last corners. Does the Cruz go for it? No. Right on the back bumper, now he does. No, he's still not able to get there. He still has just 1 more corner to go. Does he make, well, there's no way he's going to be able to make it from here, but still a fantastic final attempt at 1 more position, and what a race it was. Still coming home with a 10th place finish. Same goes for the 14 of Mark Kruger. He will finish in the 10th place position here. And here comes Moreno Jr. across the line as well. He'll finish up his lap. Same with Michael Tanagaretta. He'll round the final corner and finish up his race. 2 more drivers, St. Pierre and Lucas Jose, who spins. Jose is almost there. He just started the final sector effectively, so he does still have quite a ways to go, but the results will not necessarily be changing, so this is what we have as your finishing results. Joe Holmes finishes in the 1st place position. redemption of a clean race, considering the chaos that was last week between himself and Michael Folds. Folds as well, a race that he also desperately needed, just a clean race as well. He finishes in second place. Third place, Matt Mullins, just 0.4 of a second, even if that, behind relatively teammate Michael Folds. Nicholas Shepard, in much like the flag he chose to fly as of recent, a little bit on his own this race, but not necessarily a bad thing. He finishes in fourth. Tom Sanders finishes in fifth. Sixth place is Andreas Sanabria. Seventh, Daniel Deliberti. Eighth place, Wes de Cruz. Ninth place, Andreas Navarro. And 10th place is Mark Kruger. And then finishing in 11th, Gregorio Moreno Jr. 12th, Michael Tanagretta. 13th, Jean-Francois Saint-Pierre. Lucas Jose as well finishes 14th, 2 laps down. Dominic Ferraris finishes 15th, and Mark Tassolin did not make the event for this week. Well, that went a lot faster than I thought it would be, honestly. Especially all things considered, with this being the longest course, the second longest race on the schedule. But next week, we're not quite done yet. We move in to the 5th week of the season. And what a race it's going to be, because we head back over to the States once again. We head to the Bend layout of Road America, July 14th next week, same time, same place. We'll see you all next week back in the States at Road America, a track that knows the MX-5 so well, and a track that we're going to be excited to bring the action as well. We will see you all next week in Road America.